Hi, I'm Max Pab, and today I'm going to be ranking Ever After High characters. Sorry. Anyways, I'm going to be ranking Ever After High characters. I guess the quick disclaimer is one, they're my opinion, and two, the way that I chose them. I do plan to do another ranking where I rank including these characters, but also like the background characters like teachers and the pigs and all of that. But I just chose these ones, and then also like I added a few. I don't know how to describe how I chose these. Mainly ones who had dolls, and then the guys, because quite a few of the guys didn't get dolls. So sorry if there's people that I'm missing. I do plan to do a ranking with the teachers and stuff, but I wanted to do this one with some of the main people. Anyways, let's just jump right in. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of opinions that a lot of people aren't gonna agree with, but yeah. Number one, we have these three. So we're starting with EAH Characters and then going left, right? I think left. Anyways, EAH Characters is one of my least favorite. I don't know. I would have loved to see a doll of the Evil Queen. I don't think we got one. But I don't know. I thought that this was interesting that they like made her like a kid. I also always liked the idea that she was evil, so like to kind of like humanize her, maybe not humanize her, but make her not as evil. I don't know. Sometimes that annoys me. Like I think that there are characters that, aren't evil that like people view as evil, but like I liked that she was evil, and yeah. That's my thoughts. I don't know. I just don't like her as a character. I also didn't like this sort of like, I didn't love this era of Ever After High. I would have loved it to stay kind of that same. I don't know. Yeah. I do like the Power Princess era, but I don't know. I like Dragon Games too, but EAH Characters like that, it was not my cup of tea. Anyways, speaking of tea, we have Courtly Jester. I think I just don't like the background characters. I think for one, not background, but like the side characters that they bring in, because you'll also see another one coming up. The characters that they bring in for each of their whatever. We don't, after this, like, we don't see them, and that really annoys me, because, like, we never see Courtly Jester after this, after the, Way to Wonderland, which I know she's in Wonderland, right, but anyways, I don't know, I think she's a good villain for what she's supposed to be doing, but she's just not my favorite. I don't know, I would have loved for them to utilize their villains that they have more often, like the books, the spin-off books, whatever they're called, the ones that are like next top villain, those ones. I like how they utilize their villains, and I feel like in the cartoons in this show, they did not. They were just like bringing in new villains left and right, and I was like, you have like villains, like people who are actually supposed to be like actual good villains, and that annoyed me that they would like bring in new characters and you like never see their characters that they have in it. If that makes sense? I don't know. So yeah, Courtly Jester wasn't a bad character. I just would have loved to see more of the ones that are continuing at Ever After High, if that makes sense. Then we have Helga, and don't worry, Gus is on the next page. I actually think I probably prefer Helga better, just because her outfit's cute. These ones, I added them because they're in the yearbook. If you have the Ever After High yearbook, they're actually in it, so that's why they're on this. I would have loved to see a doll of Helga, or if Ever After High ever, makes more. If they did like a collector line of like Helga and Gus together, or just Helga, I think she's cool. But I do think that her purpose and Gus's purpose on the next page was to be annoying characters. So yeah. That's particularly why they're on this page, or why they're so low. I do think that they bring some like interesting stories, but like we don't really get to see them in the in the cartoons or in the TV series, except when they're like being mean to Ginger, who is higher on my list, so that's another reason that they're pretty low. We don't see them a lot, and they're mean. Next we have Crystal Winters. Is that her name, Crystal? Again, she has that same thing. They have so many Ever After High characters that we rarely see, especially their new ones that they added on to be more inclusive, and then they canceled it or didn't use them for the new series, like the new for the Crystal, whatever her line, Epic Winter, is that what it's called? Even though I think that show brought us, that portion of the show, that season brought us Daring and Rosabella, which I really like, but yeah, I think she just kind of suffers that same thing. I don't really remember too much about what she was in. It wasn't super interesting. I think after Dragon Games, I was like really excited, like looking forward, and then they gave us Epic Winter. Was Apple even in it? Oh, she might have been in it. I don't know. It did give us Faybelle being more of a character, so yeah, but not a big fan of Crystal. And then we have Michelle Mermaid, who did get a book. I do tend to like the book characters better, like the books, the characters that are in those books. The next top villain, I can't think of what Michelle, is her name Michelle? I feel like I'm saying the E more. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of like the last two. Is that Holly and Poppy's, and then Michelle, and who's her roommate? No clue. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I do think she's a fun character, and she was brought in when they were trying to be more inclusive. I don't know if that's actually what they were doing, but they definitely brought in more inclusive characters. But again, we just didn't really get to see her a lot, and I would have loved her to actually have a tail rather than a mermaid dress for her doll form. Anyways, not much to say. Again, like, I feel bad because, like, some of these characters, they're cool, and she could have been cool, but they weren't added until the end, and then it got canceled. So that's why I'm putting quite a few of these, like, other characters here. Like, we didn't really get to see a lot of them. We have Humphrey Dumpty, and I actually really like him, but I think that there are better boys. I know what you're thinking. You put Daring higher than him. I'm sorry. I do actually really like his character, but again, we don't really see him that often, and so, yeah, he's. Next, we have Farrah O'Hare, and is that her name? Farrah? Nope. Oh my goodness, that's Holly O'Hare. Farrah Good Fairy. Oh my goodness. It is early in the morning. I apologize. That would be a cute name, though, Farrah O'Hare. Anyways, Farrah is fun. I feel like she's mainly in. Is she Michelle's roommate? I don't know. I feel like she's mainly in what is the book? Faybelle's book, whatever that book is called. And not really in much else. I do find her cool and interesting. But again, I just don't know her that much. Like, there's not really a connection. So she's a little lower on the list. Really for that reason. Jillian is upsetting because I like her, but she looks nothing like she does in the TV show. I don't know if you've seen her in the TV show, but I swear she has darker hair than this, and I don't know, I was like, am I looking at the wrong photo? Like, is this a fan edit or something for this photo? But I'm pretty sure this is how she, like, looks. But in the TV show, she doesn't look like this. So, yeah. Anyways, she had the cute thing with Tiny, the giant, and so I thought that was cute. I love when they do, like interact with people in their stories. So I think she's fun, and then we kind of got the thing with, like, her and Humphrey. but again, not really in it much. That's gonna be the same thing for these two. I actually really do like Justine Dancer. How we got little, did I add Ramona on here? Is she on here? Oh yeah, she is. Okay, just want to make sure. She's we got the little thing with her dancing, and then her roommate Ramona Wolf, like them. So I liked that. Just like that little interaction, I thought that was super fun. But yeah, again, we don't really see her a lot, and yeah. Then we have Nina Thumbell. Again, she was in a little bit of the cartoon, like one of the webisodes, I feel, but we didn't really see a lot. I think her design is the prettiest. I love pink, green, and yellow. I think it looks so good, and I love any flower-themed doll. I don't know, I just think flowers are pretty, so that's why she's here, a little lower on the list. But I think these two, Justine and Nina, were probably my favorites that were added, mainly because we saw them more, so I can't really have an opinion on some of the others, but they were my favorites that were added, excluding Ramona, because she's higher on the list, so obviously she's my more favorite. But I think they could have done great. They could have been amazing, and I wish that it had continued. Anyways, then we have Applewhite, and listen, I, growing up, was, like, against Apple. She would have been the lowest on my list if I had made this a couple years ago. I didn't like her. I didn't like that, like, she was so obsessed with, like, her destiny and getting her happily ever after. Obviously, I was Team Raven all the way, but, you know, Apple's grown on me. I do think she's kind of annoying still. I think there's, like, a little bit of that, but, like, I've kind of, like, grown to realize, like, she was promised, like, a perfect life, and she overcomes, like, not overcomes, but she was, like, promised a perfect life and is kind of willing to give it up to make Raven happy, with her obviously not securing her destiny, more towards the end of the series. So I think she's grown on me, but I still can't forgive her for some of the things, so that's why she's lower. But I do think that she is growing on me, and in a couple years, maybe she'll be higher on my list. But yeah, she's not, like, my least favorite character. I actually love the dolls for Applewhite, so yeah. If we were ranking dolls, she would be way higher. I think her designs are amazing. Anyways, then we have Daring, Charming, and I think Daring kind of has that same thing of, like, I don't like Daring's character in the beginning at all. Obviously, I was for Dexter. So, yeah, Daring was not my favorite. But I think in the Epic Winter, when he, spoiler alert, secures his fate of being the Beast, I was like, yeah, I like him. Also, his doll isn't terrible. He has molded legs, which is annoying. Also, why is that his first doll that he gets? The only doll he gets? Anyways. But yeah, I like Daring a little bit, but only because of Epic Winter. So that's why he's here on the list. I think he only beats out Humphrey. And I think his character just, like, really isn't there. Like, there's no personality. I feel like with some of the other ones, you might think, like, why is Sparrow so high on the list? That's because he has a personality and they kept up with it. Like, again, he could have been a great villain. So, yeah. Anyways, we have Briar. I think Briar kind of suffers the same thing of that I feel like Apple, sorry, we're going back to her. I feel like Apple suffers from, like, main character syndrome. Is that what people call it? Where, like, and Raven. I used to love Raven. I don't like Raven anymore, because, like, it feels like it's all about them, and it's so annoying. And I kind of feel like that's kind of what Briar gives off, too, because I feel like Briar is a pretty big main character, like she was in Throne Coming with the book and stuff. And I do also kind of dislike that she, like, threw the book in the well. Is that what she did? Got rid of it, because she was, like, so afraid of, like, her destiny, which, like, I get it, fear and stuff, but that was kind of, like, annoying. I feel bad for saying that because, like, I can clearly understand where she's coming from, and I think there's so many other people, like Ashlyn, like, I've heard people talk about, like, why is Ashlyn not upset that her mom's gonna die, because that's how Cinderella's life goes. Like, her mom is dead, and that's why she lives with the stepmother and step siblings, and like, nobody talks about that. Like, why isn't Ashlyn more upset about that? Why is she royal? Why are so many of these other people, like Applewhite, like, it doesn't her mom die? I don't know how that story goes, but yeah, so many things. Like, I get why she did it, but that was kind of annoying. Then we have Alistair, and we will have Bunny. Okay, so listen, I feel like they kind of suffer from the same thing that I was talking about with the other characters when they did new seasons of Ever After High, like Way to Wonderland, Epic Winter. Like, they brought in new characters, and I like that Alistair and Bunny stayed at Ever After High, but I do think, like, them kind of jumping in, being there, I don't know, it bothered me. They just kind of showed up, and I was, like, so excited, like, new characters. We hadn't gotten, like, Justine, Jillian yet, those ones, and so I was, like, really excited for some new characters, and then nothing. We, like, never see them again. I did like the whole, like, bringing back some Wonderlandian people, having more, but again, we, like, never see them again, and it wasn't until, like, the date webisode that we saw them. So yeah. But Bunny's cool. She's got a cute doll. I don't know if Alistair has a doll. Either way, I want it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there. I don't think they're bad characters, but I just think, like, they ignore all the other characters. And, like, they only ever write about, like, Raven, Applebriar, Ashlyn. I feel like they don't even write about, because, like, I would love it if we had every single episode about Maddie. I don't think she could ever suffer from main character syndrome, but anyways. Then, like I said, we had Bunny. I think she's just better because, I don't know, she's better. Next, we have Holly O'Hara, and like I said, I tend to like the book characters better, but I don't know. I was not a big fan of Holly's and Poppy's book. I did like it, but, like, it wasn't how much I liked Duchess's book, Fabelle's book, and Ginger's book. Am I missing any others? Probably. Anyways, I feel like I am. I'm sorry if I am. But I don't know. I was, like, expecting to like it a lot. I definitely like Poppy more, but I thought it was, like, interesting because we get to see, like, the dynamic between siblings. We don't really get that between, like, oh, Darling. Oh, my goodness. I love Darling's book. Anyways, we don't really get that as much. Obviously, we got it with Darling's book a little bit with Dexter, but I like to see Holly and Poppy's relationship. So, yeah, Holly's a little bit higher, but again, she was one of the first characters, like, really introduced, like, in the first set. I mean, there were quite a few, but I just feel like it was never, like, I don't know, we don't get to see her a lot, and so she's lower. Then we have Dexter. I like Dexter a lot, and I think that if Dexter was with Cupid, he would be a lot higher on this list. Obviously, you can tell that I like Cupid and Dexter better than Raven and Cupid and Raven, Raven and Dexter, but yeah, I think that there are better boy characters, or at least ones that I like a little bit better. I feel like his personality really just revolves around Raven in the cartoons, and that bothers me. Like, it's only ever about Raven. I think maybe in the books it's a little bit different. It's been a while since I've read the books, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to see him have more of a personality than just it being Raven. Anyways, I feel like I'm being so harsh. Next we have Ashlyn, Ella. Again, I used to be an Ashlyn stan, but then they created not side characters, but other characters, and I fell in love. So Ashlyn's here for the reason of her, yeah, that's pretty much all I can think. No, I don't know. She's middle category because I feel like there are things that I like about her. I like her relationship with Hunter and how she's willing to, like, go against that norm. But other than that, I feel like we don't really explore Ashlyn. She's got a shoe store. Love that. But Again, she's not really explored. Next, we have Rosabella Beauty, and I love Rosabella I just read the Once Upon a Twist, and I loved it. And I thought she's so sweet, but again, she was a part of that, like, I don't even think she was a part of, like, the first bringing in new characters. I feel like there was a point where they brought in a whole bunch of characters before Justine and Jillian, like when they brought in Darling and Rosabella, because they're not a part of the yearbook that I have. And I was like, really, like, I was not really interested in Rosabella. I was like, I don't really know who she is. I don't like her. But I don't know, she's definitely, like, grown on me, especially the way that she was in Once Upon a Twist, how she, like, was, like, patient with the daring and kind. Like, I just really like her. And I would have loved to see more of her. I think that she could have been a character that was more, but yeah. Also, I feel like a lot of her, like, why she didn't make it higher is also because, like, her personality really just revolves around being, like, kind and, like, can't always be nice. Next, we have Raven. Like I said, I used to love Raven. I was a Raven stan. But now it's kind of like the whole thing of, like, Apple was, like, always against doing her thing. Apple's was getting her destiny, and Raven was against the destiny. And I feel like neither of them could really see each other's sides. And that bothered me. Like, obviously, Raven shouldn't have gone and done her destiny. She didn't want to hurt people. But, I don't know. I just felt like she never really fully, didn't really dive into the fact that, like, Apple had grown up knowing that she was going to get a destiny. Maybe they did, but, yeah. So, also, like I said, main character syndrome. Next, we have Sparrow. I feel like these characters, Sparrow and Hopper, are people that you wouldn't think are higher on the list. But first of all, I love Sparrow and how they just, like, kept his personality strong, of just being, like, annoying, and, like, just, like, doing his own thing. I also loved him in Next Top Villain. At the end of the book, I love him. Obviously, he's annoying, but I like that they continued that personality with him. And same for Hopper. Like, they took his personality and they just, like, went with it, of him not really being able to talk to Briar, or I guess other girls, and then he'd turn into Frog. I don't know. I thought that was really fun, and obviously I love him in the whatever Ginger's book is called. So yeah, that's why they're here. I think they're better characters than some of the others that don't revolve around who they're dating. And then, of course, we have Ramona Wolf. Again, she would be higher. I love her. I think she is amazing. I think her design is amazing. But we don't see her a lot. And I feel like I can't put her higher if I don't see her a lot. So that's why she's here. But I too love her. And I'm super happy that they brought in somebody who's supposed to be the bad wolf, because I always question that. I was like, is Cerise supposed to play both parts? But she's got a sibling. Then we have Poppy O'Hare. Again, I love her so much. There's really nothing else to say. I think she's fun. Again, she's in the middle area because I feel like there's really not too much to say. She's definitely higher on the list than I would have expected. But I do really like her. And I like that part where the one webisode where they went around and asked people what if they were royal or rebel, and I feel like Poppy's answer was she doesn't have one. I don't think she's either. Is that correct? Sorry if I'm wrong. I feel like she said she's neither royal or rebel, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she is a rebel. Anyways, then we have Lizzie, and I think Lizzie is a good character to like. If somebody told me that their favorite character was Lizzie, I'd be like, yeah, okay. I wouldn't have any judgment. I think she's a fun character. And she's Wonderlandian, and they're all at the top, excluding Alistair and Bunny. But yeah, again, they brought her in the beginning, and I feel like they really didn't explore her that much. as a character, but that's okay. That's okay, because I love her design so much. Anyways, we have Blondie. Yeah, we have Blondie. I do actually really like Blondie. Obviously, she's here. But again, I wish she was more of a main character. I think she could have been a cool main character. I guess she was more of a main character than some of the other ones. I loved the mirror blogs. And that she was, like, a gossip column. That's, like, my favorite part about her. Yeah. Next, we have Cedar. So after Cedar is when I get to, like, my favorite ones. So, yeah. But Cedar doesn't fully make the list because, I don't know, she always tells the truth, and that can be a little bit annoying. But other than that, I think she's an amazing character. I think she's really fun, and I like her, and I like the idea of her. Yeah. Next, we have Melody Piper. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's, like, one of my favorite characters for the fact that I had the doll. I probably wouldn't have liked her as much if I didn't have the doll. I don't think she's really in any of the webisodes. She's not in any, like, she's not one of the main sets of dolls in any of the movies, or, like, series, because they did, like, Epic Winter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, I like her doll that much. Also, she's got, like, the tattoo on her leg, and I think that that's fun that Ever After High did that, because I have a feeling that, like, I don't think that they would do that now. I don't know if it's actually supposed to be a tattoo, but it's really cute. Anyways, then we have Madeline Hatter, or Maddie, and yeah, I think that's, like, self-explanatory. Is that a word? No, I don't know. She's fun, a crazy character, and I like that they, like, went with that. That I feel like some of their personalities later on died down. Apple grew as a person, so her annoying personality died down. And all that, and I feel like with Maddie, they kind of kept it up. I'm trying to remember back then, but yeah, I just love her personality, and so I'm glad that they never, like, got rid of it. I don't know how to explain that, but it's in my head. And then we have Hunter Huntsman. This is the last boy on the list that I have, and I like him. I used to have the biggest crush on Hunter, so obviously he's on the list. Look at him. I can't help it. Anyways, I desperately want his doll because, I don't know, I never got it as a kid, and I regret it. I feel like he's not in it a lot, like this series, but that's okay because I like his character a lot. Yeah, that's all I have to say. He really only makes the list because he was one of my favorites growing up. Anyways, we have C.A. Cupid. I like that C.A. Cupid was from Monster High and Ever After High. I think that really is fun. I used to actually like Monster High when I was growing up, but that's okay. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Anyways, I obviously was rooting for her and Dexter, and I'm disappointed that she never, like, got love. That they never did that. They were never like, oh, we're gonna give Dexter to Raven, so C.A. Cupid, you're gonna find love. No, they didn't do that, and that always upset me. I think she was honestly one of my favorites in the early stages of Ever After High. I just think she's so pretty, and obviously at the time there were no other ones with wings, so she was my favorite because I love fairies. So yeah. I know she's not a fairy, but yeah, I like wings, and I always wanted wings, so she obviously was top of my list. Then we have Cerise. I think Cerise explains herself because she's amazing. I think that a lot of people like Cerise. I think she's mysterious, and I liked that like there was, like, this secret, and I always, like, wanted, like, a big dark secret that I could be like, oh, here's my secret. Yeah, I wish she showed it. Did she ever show it in the thing? I don't think so. But I like Cerise a lot. And her look, I love her so much. And anytime she got a doll, I don't think I've ever disliked a Cerise doll, but don't quote me on that. She's gorgeous, so gorgeous. Next, we have Darling Charming. Again, I read the book, so she's one of my favorites. And yeah, I think she's amazing. And she, like, breaks that, like, stereotype of, like, girls have to be, like, pretty princesses, and she is a princess and also, like, fights and wants to do the things that her brothers do and be a hero. And I think that that's really exciting. And I think that the way that they introduced her in Way to Wonderland was honestly amazing. They actually ever announced that she was in Way to Wonderland? Oh, she was in the way that they announced in obviously Way to Wonderland, but she was in the other one. I was like, did I spoil it? I guess technically they've been out for a while, but it's not. But the way that she was, like, introduced that way, and people, I just remember, like, seeing people be like, this is my theory, it's blah blah blah, and I was, like, invested in that. Yeah, I guess technically they show it, don't they? Doesn't she, like, get out of the suit in the one part? I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, but yeah, that was, like, how they introduced her, and I loved that. Next, we have Faye Belle Thorne, and Faye Belle Thorne, again, it's pretty much from the book. Obviously, Darling was more in the series, so I like her for that. Like, I loved her display in there. But Faye Belle wasn't really introduced until, what was it, Epic Winter? Like, more so being one of the characters in there. She was in Dragon Games. I would have loved, okay, so Faye Belle is a villain, and I would have loved it if they had made her a villain instead of bringing in, like, Crystal Winters or Mira Shards or any of that. Like, just let Faye Belle. Like, why couldn't we have gotten, like, an actual villain, like, character who wanted to be a villain? I think Faye Belle was that, and they didn't use it, and it bothers me. I really would have liked them to have, like, a villain, like a good villain, kind of like Descendants. I feel like that's what Descendants did. Good, they had actual villains. But yeah, I love Faye Belle for what she was, and she's fairy, so she makes top of the list. Then we have Gingerbread House, and I think she's so sweet, and again, she's one of the ones where it's like, my parent is a villain, but I don't want to be a villain, I don't want to be a bad person, and I love that, and I love her in her book so much. I feel like there's nothing really else to say because I feel like she's amazing. Next, we have Duchess Swan, and Duchess, again, it's the book. I would have loved to see Duchess actually get to be a villain she was a villain in this cartoon, like in the webisodes, but I would have loved to see that more explored, actually being brought, like, the idea of her maybe taking on the Evil Queen's role. I feel like that would have been so fun if they had actually ever explored that in the webisodes. Yeah, and just, I love that book so much. That was such a fun book. But Duchess is one of my favorite characters for that. And I just love, again, I love a good villain. I love when they make villains, which is why Kitty's also on here. Because even though Kitty's not, like, a villain, she pulls pranks on people, and I love her. Yeah, she was one of the, she is my favorite character. Also, she's purple. I love a good purple. Yeah, I think she was just a fun character, and, like, she would just, like, randomly appear, and I love that. I know she had her thing with Cerise, who's on my higher up list, but still, it's okay. Yeah. And that is my end of my list. Thanks for watching me rank these Ever After High characters, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!